Hey, welcome back to another episode of The Average Uninformed. This week we are breaking down seasons 1 and 2 before we get into season 3. So grab a drink, sit back, and enjoy. Wait, is there a second one?
Oh, there's like 3.
What?
Disney always sequelizes, Victor.
I can't tell if you're joking at this point.
No, seriously. There's like 3. There's Lion King 1.5, which tells like Timon and Pumbaa's story.
Oh, who gives a shit?
And then there's like Lion King 2. Where
They had a show.
Yeah.
They don't need another movie.
There's a new show on right now called Simba's Pride, I think. And then there's, of course, the new one, the Jon Favreau one.
Oh, the live action one.
It's not live action, Victor.
Live action, completely CG movie. Well, that's neat. Well, wait. When did the second and third one come out?
Like sometime.
Wait, was there an Aladdin 2?
Yeah, man. Return of Jafar.
Oh. Little Mermaid 2?
Yeah, I don't remember what that one's called.
Wait, but there is.
Oh, yeah, of course there are.
Why is this the first time I've heard about this?
Because you're dead inside and didn't have a childhood.
No, that's partially correct, actually.
It's probably because you spent too much time playing in rice piles as a kid. That's not racist. That's a true story.
Listen, I didn't have a sand pit. I had a barrel of rice. You work with what you got. Wait, Comic-Con's going right now?
Yeah, it started today.
Oh, yeah. Where's the Hot Toys news? My phone. Yo, they're making the Batman Robin.
Yeah, you told me. Remember we had a pun battle about it yesterday?
I know, but I want to see this. I want to see if they've released it because that would be the best thing in the world right now. I mean, while I'm doing this, we could just talk about...
I don't want to talk to you. Not when you're in a Hot Toys mode.
I'm always in a Hot Toys mode. Okay. I guess we should just do the podcast.
All right. Victor, how was your week?
Hectic, but very nice. Yeah. Very, very nice hectic.
How so?
You have a lot of things to do, but everything goes smoothly. Like nothing goes wrong. You just check off things after things after things.
Oh, yeah. I know that kind of feeling.
It's nice. It's a nice change of pace.
Yeah.
But I'm tired now.
Yeah.
And I want to be home.
No, you made an arrangement. You have to be here to record.
How about you? How's your week been?
It's been pretty good. I started drawing again. I kind of took a break from it for a while, not on purpose or anything. I was just doing other projects that didn't require hand drawing. So I missed it and I'm still kind of good at it. So that's nice. Because it's a muscle, right? So it's just like if you let it go.
No.
Never mind, Victor. I don't want to talk about it. Stop showing me pictures of Hot Toys, Victor.
The Iron Spider in negative zone. You're just jealous. What were you saying?
I think we should get into the news, Victor.
Okay.
Have you heard about this Facebook trend going on? We're going to charge Area 51.
Oh, yeah. What was it? September 20th is the date.
They can't stop us all, I think is the hashtag.
Yeah. So a bunch of people are going to this meetup so that they can storm Area 51.
Yeah.
But it's funny, earlier this year, someone got shot trying to enter Area 51.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is natural selection at its best.
Well, yeah, I think because the guy had to release a statement. Like he started it as a joke, obviously, but there's a lot of dumb people out there. And so he had to like release a statement to be like, U.S. government, this was just a joke. I don't have any affiliation with people who end up meeting on September 20th. It's like, it was just a joke. Please don't press charges or anything.
But it's funny. There's a lot of like celebrities have taken part in this.
Mm-hmm.
Like Keanu Reeves.
I saw Chuck Norris.
Done. Easy.
Danny Trejo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Who was the other one? Neil Patrick Harris. I saw.
That's a weird one. Danny DeVito.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just picturing him getting like launched from a catapult or a trebuchet.
and he's naked and greased up.
With the goggles on.
He just, launch me. And then just immediately hits just straight.
But like right in front of a bunch of soldiers.
And they're like, well, that one was a freebie.
That's Danny DeVito. Holy shit.
And look, that's Danny DeVito. And that's Danny DeVito. Because there's pieces of him, Victor, because he exploded.
Yeah, mine was funnier.
Yeah, and the U.S. government released a statement as well, being like, we will shoot you. We have every right to.
Oh, I wonder if I saw like a fake one then. It was on CNN and it was like, this isn't going to happen because millennials are too depressed to leave bed. It was like, oh man, they just burned an entire generation.
And then we as a generation were like, hey. And that's it. That's all we did.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So it bears the question, Victor, what do you think is at Area 51?
I don't know if they have 2 months to move anything that's secret out.
What are you talking about? They have 2 months to get a bunch of tanks there.
I think it's easier just to move everything out.
I don't think it is.
Because you put tanks there, then it's like, oh, they are hiding something.
It's government property.
Yeah, but you flew in tanks.
Imagine if like hundreds of thousands of people were like, I'm going to charge the post office. What are you going to do? Move all the mail out? No, you put the cops there in front.
No, because the mail's not top secret.
I don't understand how the mail works. Victor, do you believe in aliens?
I believe there should be.
What does that mean?
I mean, the odds of us being the only planet out here that has life, kind of strange.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that boat too. Just the numbers are a little bit too
neat.
It's just too high.
What if we're just in a computer simulation and I'm just like an AI NPC character that was created for you to interact with?
Are you?
I can't say stuff like that, Josh. It's against my being.
All right. Do you think that aliens have visited this planet? Do you think that Earth has the reputation we are the south of the entire universe? That we are the Hicks of the universe?
I mean, that would make sense. Yeah. Imagine
I don't think aliens have been to this planet.
I would say we've been visited.
Think so?
Yeah. For no reason, just to say. Because I don't want to be wrong in case we have been. We're going to look back on this in 50 years when we have been visited and be like, oh, we visited here before. And I'm going to come back to this episode, throw it in your face.
All right. Victor, there was a cast photo for Fast and Furious 9. You gonna look it up?
Yeah.
That's okay, I'll wait.
This isn't it, is it?
No.
Is it this one?
No.
This is the worst search I've ever done.
Yeah, it really is, Victor.
That one?
Yes.
It's got Vin Diesel and some other characters I don't remember. Hey, John Cena. Who's that guy?
Oh, probably the director.
It's like an Asian Seth Green.
Yeah, I think that's the director. Is it Justin Lin? I think is directing it.
Sure, let's do that. Oh, and they got a cake. Ew, cherries on top. At least take the stem out.
Anyway, I wanted you to look at that photo because it is all my least favorite characters from Fast and Furious.
Right, that makes sense. The big feud.
There's no Hobbs.
They got Tyrese.
Mm.
Really?
Yeah. Paul Walker's dead.
Makes sense.
So he's not in it anymore. Gal Gadot.
Oh yeah, she is dead.
Yeah, she fell out of an airplane.
Oh wait.
Yeah, she did.
She was alive though.
No, she sacrificed herself to save Han, the Asian guy.
Right.
And then he immediately died because Jason Statham killed him. But now they're friends with Jason Statham.
Can you imagine that? Like someone kills one of the friends in your group, but then like a decade later, you and that guy are friends.
It's not even a decade later, A. And B, it's not like he accidentally killed him with his car or something. Like he straight up murdered him. It was malicious. He had intent. And now they're friends drinking Coronas together. Having a barbecue.
Welcome to the family.
You're only allowed in if you kill one of the previous members.
Take his place. One of us. One of us.
Yeah. I don't like any of those people. John Cena, I like a lot. So that.
Do you think he's going to be
but
like a big role?
I think he will be a bad guy, and then in the next movie, he'll inexplicably be a good guy.
Whoa, you guys were doing that all for family?
Why didn't you say so?
I'm down.
Oh, he also confirmed that Charlize Theron is coming back as the dreaded hacker. Get it? Dreaded.
Thank you. It's very
she
good.
had dreads.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Very good.
And Helen Mirren, I think, is coming back, he said.
Oh. Wasn't she like
She was Shaw's mom, so I don't understand why she's in it, but not Jason Statham.
Maybe he is. Ooh, secret Shaw.
Maybe I'm confused. Maybe it's not Helen Mirren. Maybe it's Jordana Brewster, who played Paul Walker's wife. Anyway, Victor, I have to ask you a question. Fast and Furious and Point Break are basically the same movie, right?
Sure. I mean, yes.
One's surfers, one's DVD theft. Fast and Furious has gotten 9 sequels. Would you have rather seen 9 Point Break sequels?
No. Well, if I had to base off the first 2 movies, I probably would have chosen Point Break.
Oh, Fast and Furious, you mean?
Yeah.
They don't really start getting good until whenever Dwayne Johnson shows up.
So yeah, like you said good, and I said stupid. Yeah, I'm happy with how this turned out.
Really?
Because then Keanu Reeves is now doing other stuff.
That's true. We wouldn't have gotten like The Matrix, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Or John Wick, or that movie where he could deliver mail through a time traveling mailbox. We would never have gotten those movies, Victor. So it's probably a good thing. Anyway, moving on. I have a funny news story for you. Did you hear about the guy who tried to smuggle cocaine into Spain under his toupee?
No, I did not.
It was $44,000 worth of cocaine.
What? How big was his toupee?
It was comically big. It was like clearly there was something underneath of it. So he's a 65-year-old man. He tried to smuggle it into Spain. And they clocked him immediately. They're like, he was acting nervous. Plus his toupee looked real dumb.
Oh, it looks terrible. That's awesome.
Imagine $44,000 worth of cocaine in a Ziploc bag and just place that on your head. And just imagine how big that is. And then put some hair over it.
Well, that's crazy they checked, because that would never come up in an x-ray. Man, that's stupid. That's awesome.
That's all I got for that story. That's Victor, I got some news that kind of is like a little precursor for next week.
Uh-huh.
Did you hear Marvel news this week?
I haven't heard anything.
The Hollywood Reporter is reporting Thor 4 is happening.
What?
With Taika Waititi coming back to write and direct.
Not sure how I feel about that.
Oh yeah? Tell me why.
I don't know. Thor Ragnarok had a lot of comedy on it and almost leaned too much into that side.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So if they go about it like, oh, you know what? Do what you did for Ragnarok, but more of it, then I'm not going to enjoy it. Probably. But if they say like, oh, you know what? We like what you did, but maybe pull it back into Thor's story, more about him, character development, than humor, then I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, he did a lot of good for that franchise, but yeah, I would agree with that. He needs to draw back a little bit on because he had amazing visuals, which I really loved. And I'm excited to see where they go next, because he did it in a good way of like his visuals complemented the planet they went to. Yeah. And so I don't know if they're going to get that again. Maybe he'll go to another crazy planet.
I wonder if they're going to do the Guardians of the Galaxy with him too.
Yeah, I wonder if
just like part of it, and then the rest of it's going to be a Thor movie.
I imagine if Thor is going to stick around with the Guardians, he'll do it in Guardians 3. And then Guardians 3 will take place maybe chronologically before Thor 4. Because it was supposed to be like that was supposed to be their next movie. Right. Was Guardians 3, and then the whole debacle with James Gunn happened. And then none happened. Yeah. So I wonder if he is going to do it. I think he is going to be, it'll be in Guardians, but then in Thor, it'll be a Thor movie. It'll be.
I wonder if they would change that just because then it'd be confusing for viewers.
I don't think so. It's not too confusing. Maybe it is. I'm kind of like into the timeline and stuff. So, but like they've done that before. Like Guardians 2 took place years before, and Ant-Man and the Wasp took place before Infinity War, and Captain Marvel took place in the 90s.
Yeah, but You're watching Thor, and then you see him again like a year later, but then it's before that movie.
I don't know. There's no release date on it either, though.
Oh,
so
okay.
it could come after Guardians 3. So maybe it comes out in the same summer. Get a 1-2 punch of Chris Hemsworth and then Chris Hemsworth.
Yep. That
Anyway.
would be. Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he does, but I don't think he deserves carte blanche. Are you familiar with the show 13 Reasons Why?
Yes.
The one where the girl commits suicide and then
Mm-hmm.
kind of sadistically points the finger at a bunch of people.
Yeah.
So Netflix has decided to remove the suicide scene from the show.
Fuck off. That's stupid.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why is that, Victor?
We have scenes of people getting like butchered in other movies. There's a rape scene in Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
There's a rape scene in 13 Reasons Why.
Oh, is there?
Immediately before the suicide.
Huh. Didn't watch that.
Oh.
Didn't watch it all the way through.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. So you didn't see the suicide scene then?
No.
Okay. So she cuts her wrists in the bathtub, and there's a moment, like, it's very real, like it's very visceral, like you can almost feel it on your wrist as she's cutting, and like there are moments of her panicking and like not enjoying the experience.
Oh yeah, no shit.
Because she's committing suicide, and that's the point.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like, this wasn't the right decision for her to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
well, it's a show about suicide,
right?
And you take out the big dramatic event.
It kind of glamorizes it in a way. Like, I don't know.
But then, even if they glamorize it, but then by the time they get to that point, it's like, oh, you know what? This isn't as nice as I thought it was going to be.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Is it pulls the rug out from under it, because it's like.
So wait, they're talking about taking it, or they are taking it?
They are taking it out.
Stupid people and their sensitive bullshit.
Why don't they take out the scene from season 2 where they rape the guy with a mop?
What?
Yeah, that show is messed up.
A mop? Which end?
The stick end, Victor.
That's terrible.
And then he almost does a school shooting after that.
You know what? That's very reasonable, but still terrible.
I don't know about that, but oh yeah, that show. It's ridiculous, but I think the suicide scene was necessary, and it's dumb to remove it. Especially because apparently in the book that it's based off of, she just did it with pills. So I think it's better that they did it with a razor blade.
Man, I thought Netflix would have had more balls.
Apparently they just lost a bunch of viewers. They raised the price again, and they lost like a couple 100,000 people.
Yeah, I would jump ship. I barely use Netflix for anything now.
Except for our topic.
Oh, good thing it's over.
Shall we get into it?
All right. So, Stranger Things season 3 came out.
That's right. Like 3 weeks ago or something.
It was 3 weeks ago?
Maybe 2.
2 sounds better.
2's more likely.
I feel better about 2.
I think it was the same weekend as Spider-Man.
Oh.
So 2 weeks. Yeah. Something like that.
Well, by the time this goes to be 3 weeks.
It doesn't matter, Victor.
It does. Yeah, it's been a while since it came out. But we watched seasons 1 and 2
and 3. We watched all 3.
All 3.
Oh.
But I watched it better. But anyway, season 1. Do you want to do a quick run around?
Yeah, sure.
On that?
Let's break down what we thought of the first 2 seasons before we get into the fat, into the meat.
And fat and meat are very different things.
Are they?
Yeah.
They're both on.
I mean, they're connected.
Okay, whatever. Stranger Things 1. If you are completely out of the loop, it's a mystery show about kids in the 80s. One of them goes missing, Will Byers. His friends go looking for him, and the town goes looking for him. And as they go looking, they find that there's a secret plot going on. Like there's this lab that has broken into this other dimension, and there's a creature that has emerged from the other dimension, and it's hunting kids down.
The kids have dubbed it the Demogorgon.
That's right.
Which is a D&D monster, because they're huge D&D fans.
Yeah. And then they find Will at the end. Spoilers. Yeah. Spoilers for the whole show, by the way.
On this journey, they find a girl named 11, because she has an 11 tattooed on her wrist. Find out that she has supernatural powers that allow her to move things with her mind.
And she can find people no matter what distance, as long as she has some white noise.
Yeah. Basically, cerebral light.
Yeah. Basically. So, Victor, what did you think of the first season? of Stranger Things.
It's weird going back because the kids are really kids again.
Yeah, they're how old are they? They're in grade 7 in the first. So what is that? Is that
They're
12?
12. Yeah, 12. Yeah, okay, that does make sense. Yeah. It was really good. I'd say of all the seasons, it definitely has the most horror mystery elements to it because you know nothing about this show.
Yes.
And you don't really ever see the monster.
I wonder if that's partly budget and partly for scare factor.
I would say both. Because a lot of movies back then for horror, you don't really see the monster. And I think they kind of like realized, oh, you know what? If you don't see the monster, it's scarier. It's more up to your imagination. So maybe that's why they did it. But yeah, because the monster really isn't that scary looking.
It's basically a muscular dog-like creature, but its face opens up like a flower.
Yeah.
And it's just teeth.
But it's just every petal's covered in teeth.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It is a cool design.
Is it dog-like or is it more?
Well, it's like skinny werewolf, like in that third Harry Potter movie. You remember the werewolves and that, how they were all like lanky and like long limbs.
Yeah, vaguely,
Yeah. Anyway, I really liked the first season when it came out. I think I've said before on the podcast, it was interesting because my wife and I watched it in a vacuum and we were like, the show's really great. And we kind of like binged through it the entire weekend, which we don't often do.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Monday, like we found out like, so did everyone else and everyone loved it. And it was kind of nice to be like ahead of the curve a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, I really liked it. There's great mystery in the first season. Like, as you said, you really don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And like there's great moments in it. Like it's well written so what actually happens is this kid he gets transported to this other dimension and they call it the Upside Down.
Which is another reference to D&D, like another dimension there, I think.
No, that was just because 11 turned the board upside down to show them what the other dimension was. Anyway, so he gets caught in the Upside Down. So he figures out a way to communicate with his mom through lights.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know that it's him doing it, but we're just seeing it from the mom's perspective, who's guessing that it's her son.
Yeah.
Right when she kind of has a breakthrough and they're actually communicating with each other, they find Will's body. And you're like, what? Turns out it's not Will's body. It's a cover-up. But
it's a very good cover-up.
Yeah. But yeah, it is extremely well written, the first season, where you just have no idea what's going on. You just get little pieces and you're kind of putting it together with the characters. Like a complaint I had about later seasons, it becomes very predictable and you're able to predict what's going to happen long before it happens. But the first season is great for not doing that.
And it's nice too, because especially when you compare it to the other seasons, I don't like keep going that route, but you get a much smaller cast and everyone has a role, or at least a more significant role. And it's kind of nice to see, because then by the time the end comes, they've all connected and you can see like, oh, okay, I know what you're doing. I know what you've done. So everyone here is important. And it's like, I don't want any of you to die. So there's some stakes there.
Yeah. And it's extremely well acted, which is saying a lot because a lot of the actors are children.
Yeah.
And there's like moments like Lucas, one of the friends, when they find Will's body, the main character, Mike, is kind of storming off because he's in denial about it. He's so sure that they were going to find him alive. And then Lucas is just like, come on, man, like, don't go. And like, he's like full on crying as it's happening. And it's just like, man, these kids are good actors.
Yeah. You think about it, like, I wonder where these kids are going to go in like 20 years if they're like this good now.
Yeah. So it's set in the 80s and because they want to have like a certain feel of like people aren't always in constant contact with each other, and like it's that small town feel of like kids would just get on their bikes and ride wherever, and you didn't have to worry about pedophiles and stuff. But but I like that it's not being thrown in your face that it's the 80s. It's just like it is truly just the setting.
Yeah.
I mean, there are references here and there, but it's more, it feels like a lived in 80s. It's not like
everything's super like brand new 80s in your face, neon lights everywhere. And like,
yeah. And like they play with toys, but it was like toys from the 80s and not like name toys, I guess. I don't know. They're not making a big deal of it. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like Mike has a Teddy Ruxpin and a bunch of He-Man toys, and like he makes a point to show them, and like, because it's the 80s, you know, and
Yeah. But the setting is really cool. Like the visuals in this show are really well done.
yeah, and there's a cool atmosphere and a cool tone.
Yeah, because the Upside Down is very different. It's like lots of blues, like very cool colors, dark. It's got this weird ash kind of like hovering, floating around, kind of like after a fire. You've got all the ash kind of
like flaky kind of
Mhm.
stuff floating. And there's like tendrils.
yeah, kind of all over the ground and all over surfaces and stuff.
It looks like a sickly place, like you don't want to be there, which is kind of cool that they can just do that with the atmosphere and hut. Anyway, yeah, and as you said, it's genuinely scary in parts. Like the first time you watch it, there are moments where you're like scared that characters are going to die.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I remember one of the freakiest parts was I really liked was Will's mom was trying to communicate, and then she finds I don't know what do you call it, like a portal in the house, so she starts ripping off the wallpaper,
Right,
and the Demogorgon starts like trying to like break through.
right.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was freaky.
Yeah, I think that show has one of the, I guess, most memorable visuals that's come through in a long time. It's the house with all the lights strung on the walls with the letters on it
Mm-hmm.
when she's trying to communicate with Will. It's like I saw that everywhere. Like for Halloween decorations, I saw
Right.
that. I'm like, I saw that a lot around the internet.
Yeah, and a lot of guys dressed up as 11. Guys with buzz cuts dressed up as 11.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So overall, was there anything you didn't like about the first season?
Honestly, not really. I thought it was a pretty well done. If anything, I didn't like that they did a second season or a third season. If I had to like
Alright.
nitpick one thing, because the way it ended it was great.
Yeah, that's true. It was kind of like a self-contained story.
Yeah, I like that 11 dies, quote unquote, at the end of it. I don't see how, like, we'll get into season 2, but like, I don't know how she like appears in season 2. I don't like, it doesn't really make sense. It seems like they killed her, but then it's like, oh no, she's alive.
Mm-hmm.
Because you never see that happen to her again after she uses her powers like that. How convenient for the plot.
Yeah, I would, same thing. I don't think I have any complaints about it. I'll say that it's not a complaint. I really hate bullies. There's lots of bullies in the first season. There's not so much in the other.
You never see
seasons.
those two kids again.
No, those kids are awful.
Who makes other kids jump off cliffs?
Holds a knife to the other kid's throat. Says he's going to cut out his teeth.
That seems.
That kid is a sociopath.
It's a small town.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen to that kid?
That scene is messed up. Do you have any favorite characters from the first season? Because mine changed from season to season.
I really liked Hopper and Mike in the first season.
Yeah, Hopper's my favorite character.
Hopper's the chief of police.
Yeah, he starts off, he has a past. He lost a daughter to cancer or something like that.
Yeah.
And so he's like this big city cop who is now a small town chief of police. And so he has a chip on his shoulder, and it's like so quiet that he just doesn't believe anything is happening.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like that as the season goes on, like as soon as clues start presenting themselves, he takes them as at face value. And it's not like he's still unwilling to believe despite all the facts that are lining up. Like, I like that as soon as the first clue that makes him skeptical shows up, that would make anyone skeptical, he follows it.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that scene where he sneaks into the lab and then gets captured, and he wakes up in his trailer. And then immediately he's like, I bet you they bugged this trailer. And he like goes through and looking all over his apartment, ripping it apart, trying to find the bug.
Mm-hmm.
It's always in the last place you look.
Where was it again?
It's like in the smoke alarm or something.
That makes sense. It's funny that scene where it's like the last two or second last episode where Hopper meets up with the kids, and the kids are trying to explain to him the Upside Down and Demogorgon. You can tell he's done with those kids.
Yeah, I really like that. And I like that, just to piggyback off of that, where everyone is disconnected and they're in their own little story, and they're all trying to solve the same mystery, but it's almost like they're different movies.
Yeah.
The kids with 11, it's like a mystery kind of Goonies-esque. Like, it's a little, there are stakes, but it's a little bit more tame. And then Hopper, he's investigating the cover up. They're investigating Will disappearing, and then Nancy and Jonathan are monster hunting. And I like
never
that they
thought
all
about that.
kind of
Yeah.
come together in the end.
Yeah, that scene where they like killed the Demogorgon in their house.
Oh yeah, and Steve shows up.
Pretty badass.
Yeah, that was a great moment for Steve.
Yeah.
That guy gets beat up a lot.
He won a fight, right?
Yeah, let's getting ahead of ourselves. I also liked Lucas a lot. Who was
with his like slingshot.
Yeah, I liked him because he was the voice of reason in the kids group.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone else was just like following like the supernatural clues, and he's the one who's like, we don't know who this 11 chick is. For all you know, she's the monster. I just liked that aspect of him. That
He's always one in the group, man.
Yeah.
Killjoy. Killjoy Lucas.
He's like a fun vampire, but instead of sucking blood, he just sucks.
Anyways, season 1.
Season 1,
Awesome.
overall, if you have not seen Stranger Things, at least watch season 1.
Yeah.
You will not be disappointed.
I feel like if you left off with season 1, that's perfectly fine. Season 2.
Season 2.
Season 2.
So after finding Will.
Oh, you want to talk about the end of season 1 with Will?
Sure, let's do that.
So end of season 1, Will is having Christmas dinner with his mom. He leaves to go to the bathroom and he coughs up a weird black slug thing. And the slug slithers into the drain. And Will doesn't mention that to anyone because why would you?
Yeah. Because he's a good kid, right?
Yeah, totally reasonable. And season 2 picks up
a year later.
Halloween, so almost a year later.
Yeah. And then so Will is having all these episodes where he keeps seeing himself back in the Upside Down, and he keeps seeing this giant smoke monster in the distance and it's like this giant storm, and each time he has an episode, the storm is closer and closer. His mom's new boyfriend tells him that he used to have nightmares, and then in his nightmare he stood up to the thing that was giving him nightmares, and it went away. And so he does that, and then we soon realize that these are not daytime nightmares. This is really happening. Daymares, yeah, daymares. This is real, and the smoke monster possesses him.
Yeah, flies into his mouth. It's kind of gross looking.
Yep. Meanwhile, 11 has somehow got out of the Upside Down.
Yeah, she's living with Hopper in his little cabin in the woods.
Do you want to talk about that? Because you said you didn't like that.
Yeah, so I guess we find out that she was stuck in the Upside Down at the end of season 1, and she managed to get out, and then she was just hiding in the woods until Hopper found her. Does that sound right?
Which is not long, like maybe a couple months or something.
Yeah, but he keeps her a secret in his cabin. She's not allowed to leave.
Because she's a wanted fugitive. It's not like he's a weird guy who's just like, I found this kid and no one can know. Because she has, as we mentioned, she has telekinetic powers. So
she's wanted by the government.
Yeah. So he hides her in the cabin.
She decides to break out and go see Mike and her friends.
Who she had a romantic fling with in the first season.
Yeah.
They totally kissed.
Romantic interest. Yeah, I guess they did kiss. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It was a peck.
But we find out that there's a new girl in the group, Max. She finds out about that girl, and then she kind of gets ticked off and leaves.
Yeah, this is like the minutia of it. I can tell you only watched half of the second season.
Yeah, I couldn't get through it again. I don't know.
Meanwhile, the little slug that Will threw up and at the end of the last season, it grows into like a little tadpole thing that Dustin finds. Turns out it's a Demogorgon, and so it runs off. And so Dustin and Steve, who was the boyfriend of Mike's older sister in the first season,
Nancy, yeah,
they go off monster hunting, trying to find it. And basically, there's a giant attack at the lab. All these other Demodogs show up. Bob dies.
Bob's like one of my favorite characters in that season.
Yeah, and then 11 shows up. They realize you have to close the gate, so they close the gate. The end.
And all the dogs.
All the dogs die. If they close the gate, the connection is lost, and it kills everything.
Mind. Yeah,
because it's a hive mind, I guess, as you said. Why? This is a bad synopsis.
Yeah. Should we try this again?
I don't wanna.
All right. Whatever. Season 2, bad synopsis.
You've either seen it or you haven't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I couldn't get through this whole season.
You didn't like it, eh?
I didn't. I don't know. Part of it is because I've seen it already. I know what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not enough for me to care. it feels like a repeat of season 1 in a sense that like, yeah, you know what? They're all split up again and like, but they're not doing anything different with it.
Okay.
And like, I don't like the Hopper and 11 locked up in the cabin thing. That wasn't interesting for me. It feels like they took like all the elements of like what made her hiding fun and took those out. Yeah, like I don't know.
Okay.
And then like that's that weird storyline where she goes off, she runs away and goes to wherever it was. Chicago to I guess.
Yeah, there's an entire episode dedicated to her uncovering her past where none of the other characters are in it.
Well, when she goes and talks to her mother or like confront her mother, she finds out that there are other kids with powers like her.
Yeah.
And that's what gets her to go to Chicago. And she finds these kids, and these kids are up to no good. They're basically punishing the people that were in on that project that they were in.
Mm-hmm. At the Hawkins lab, yeah.
My problem with that is that, like, yeah, you know what? That's a cool episode to show that there are other kids out there with that, but you never see them outside of that episode.
No, I maintain that's an interesting story if they had edited it into the other episodes. Like as we're moving on with the mystery of the other kids, you keep going back to Chicago and seeing 11 with the other, was it 8? Anyway.
But again, that part of the story isn't interesting enough to like draw me in. Like that entire episode I was like dreading. Like the first time I watched it, I wasn't enjoying it.
I disagree. I really like this season, not as much as the first season. It was different enough for me. Like I liken the Stranger Things seasons to the Alien movie franchise, where, and I think that's what they're going for with the second season, because it's not as much mystery, but there's more action, I guess.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like the same thing with, instead of one Demogorgon in the first season, like the first Alien, the second one, there's a bunch of them.
But it's funny because they're not Demogorgons, they're Demodogs, which I don't know why they changed it up like that.
The point was that they hadn't fully grown yet.
Oh, so they would grow up to like bipedal creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
What was I saying? Yeah, and that was the thing, because there's a moment you think they're hunting down Dustin's Demodog, and they look like they're about to capture him, and then like 3 other ones show up.
Yeah.
And like that was a nice surprise, and I was like, how did I not see that this is Aliens? Because Paul Reiser is flipping in this season, playing almost the exact same character of like the trusting corporate scientist, but is really there to investigate more about these things. I remember the first time I watched this, I was just like, oh, why didn't I see that there was going to be a bunch of them? But I liked that they added 2 characters of Billy and Max. And I liked that they moved some characters around. And so some characters who had never interacted before were now put together. And you kind of have this weird dichotomy.
Yeah.
Is that the right
Sure
word? I don't know. Like there's just different chemistries. Like everyone really loves Steve and Dustin.
Yeah.
Being put together in the second season. And
I did like that.
Yeah. And I liked that they moved some characters around like that. I liked Hopper and 11. I liked their chemistry, because like for Hopper, it was kind of like a second chance at a daughter, and then Elle not having any experience with a positive male father figure. So I did like that. And it was just, as I said, it was just different enough that it wasn't a repeat for me. But I would agree. It's not as good as the first season.
Yeah.
But one thing they did do really well, and I was afraid of what was going to happen coming into the second season. I call it the Justin Bartha syndrome. So in the first Hangover movie, they lose the guy who's getting married, played by Justin Bartha. And he's gone for the entire movie. And so in that movie, you really fall in love with the friendship between Bradley Cooper and Zach Galifianakis and Ed Helms. Yeah. And then in the second movie, they put Justin Bartha in. And instead of adding him to the group, they just kind of toss him aside and they write him out of the story. And so I was really concerned they were going to do that with Will, because he was gone the entire first season and he was very much the point of the first season.
Yeah.
I loved that they like found a way to connect him to the story and make him like integral to it.
But it's funny, they also kind of removed him again because they find out that Will's being possessed and sabotaging plans. he's like a spy for.
Yeah, the mind flayer is using him.
Yeah, because at one point they're in the lab and he basically tells the guys where to go, and all the soldiers that are there end up getting like ambushed. That was a cool scene.
Yeah, he traps them. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Any characters you liked in this one?
I really liked Dustin and
Steve.
That was cool.
Me too.
That might be my favorite pair up of the entire season.
I like Bob.
Oh yeah, Bob.
Sean Astin plays Bob. He's Joyce's
new lover.
New lover. Yeah. And he is so wonderfully lame. Like he is like, I don't know. Like he's just got dad jokes, and he's
just a nice guy.
Yeah, he's just a really nice guy, and he unfortunately dies, eaten alive by extra-dimensional demons.
Yeah, there are worse ways.
So you kind of covered what you didn't like about season 2. What I didn't like, they didn't give Mike a lot to do. He just was kind of by Will's bedside and was just kind of like, I'm your best friend, Will.
Yeah, he was kind of whiny in that season for a bit. What did you think of Max?
I liked her fine. Sometimes I don't like her, but after like thinking about it, I'm always like, yeah, I guess that's how a character would react, like if not being in the know.
Yeah, true.
Because yeah, she's like really hostile, like because they're not allowed to talk about it because like the government threatened their lives or something, so they can't talk about the events of season 1 with anyone. And so Max is their new friend, and she doesn't get the seriousness of the situation.
Yeah, everyone's freaking out.
So that's kind of frustrating. I didn't like that episode that you talked about where Al goes off to Chicago. I don't think anyone did. So anyway, this is a lot longer than I wanted to talk about season 2. But
anyways, season 2 is good, but it's still not as good as the first one.
And Victor didn't like it.
And I didn't like it.
Yeah. Season 3, Victor. Let's do it.
All right. Season 3 takes place how many years?
I think it's just another 8 months after the last season.
Okay.
Because it's the summer after.
Oh, okay. Right. Wow. They grew a lot.
Yeah. So in this one, there's a secret Russian base. They opened a gate in Hawkins under the mall.
There's a Starcourt Mall is what it's called. There's a new mall that opened up in, what's the town called?
Hawkins. The mind flayer from last season gets out, and he makes a new body for himself out of rat guts.
Rat guts and pesticides that the rats eat?
I guess so. Anyway, so he's back, and then basically the season is them discovering the base and then shutting the gate again.
Yeah.
That was quick. That was a good synopsis. We nailed it.
Dustin and Max are dating.
No, Lucas and Max.
Dang it.
Dustin went away to camp.
Yeah, he went to camp for a few months, and then he came back at the beginning of the season. Who's he get up with? Sophie? Susie. He meets a Susie at camp that he tries to get a hold of with his new radio machine
called Cerebro.
You think it's a reference to X-Men?
Probably.
Makes sense.
He reads comics. Of course he called it that. Anyway, before we get too much into that, Victor, what did you think of the season?
I think this might be my favorite season.
Really?
Yeah.
This was my least favorite season.
What?
I kind of hated this season.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa. Unexpected. I was expecting to be like number 2 for you.
No. This season was really jokey. I thought that like the first couple episodes were going to be like jokey, and then as like the plot thickens, it would get more serious and get more like the first and second season. But no, it was jokey. It really reminded me of the season of Community when Dan Harmon left, and they like tried to write a season without him. Like it seemed like they lost what Stranger Things was, and they were trying to do their best, but they were just a little bit left to center, and they didn't nail it.
See, I thought the exact opposite.
All right.
I mean, yeah, you know what? It is different from what Stranger Things season 1 and 2 are, but I don't want to reference season 2. I think it's different from what Stranger Things was. But like, I think if you do a third season that's trying to copy that, it's gonna fall flat. It's gonna get stale pretty quick. This is so
different from what the show was.
I don't know. Like
it's really jokey. Hopper is a cartoon character.
Yeah, with him and Eleven and Mike dating. Yeah, that was a little over the top. He would like bust into the room.
Like that was kind of fun. Like I was expecting that to be, this is like kind of like over the top. This is what life is like now. And then we get get back to it. He stayed at that level the entire time. He's always just yelling at Joyce the entire season. He became like my least favorite character.
Yeah, I didn't really like him as much in this. I still enjoyed him, but what you talked about, like them switching, I guess, groups of people up from season 1 and 2. They kind of stuck with what they did in season 2.
And I hated that.
I don't know. Like I liked Dustin and Steve and what's her name?
Robin.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the Scoops Ahoy girl?
Yeah. Like I liked that plot where they're trying to break that Russian secret code, and that's how they find out that the storage room is the. I don't know.
I didn't like that at all.
Really?
Like I liked their dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Like I liked, like here's the thing. I liked all the characters as they were together, but I wanted them to switch up characters again. I wanted more of like put Hopper and Lucas together, put Steve and Jonathan together, like put characters who don't really interact that much.
I guess it'd be weird to like, I don't know, because Nancy and wow, I'm so bad with names with this.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Nancy and Jonathan,
like that duo makes sense. It'd be weird. Like, I don't know how you would write Nancy with like Mike, like a brother sister kind of thing.
But that would be interesting.
It would be interesting.
And that's their job. Figure it out. They're writers.
That's fair. But I don't know. I liked.
See, that's what I mean though, is like, they're like, okay, this is what people like about Stranger Things. Let's write it like that. And I think they lost the plot a little bit. Like not the plot. Like they lost. They're so concerned with pleasing fans that it got in the way of them telling a story.
Mm.
And it's just like I didn't like the plot of this. Like there's a secret Russian base under Hawkins. That's so dumb.
But it's kind of cool.
And the base is huge. They had to be building it for years.
Well, mall went up probably like 8 months?
It's been 8 months since the last season.
Even 7 months, even though they just opened. Yeah. Still kind of cool. But yeah, it's stupid.
But like, think about like what Stranger Things was in the first season.
Mm-hmm.
It's like small town. There's a mystery where it's just like this kid's missing. And maybe there's a monster killing kids. And then it's like, we're fighting the commies under the mall. How did we get here?
Well, it's the 80s. They've been fighting the commies for a while, Josh. I can only take the same, like, oh, what's happening? What's happening here? Is it more Demogorgons? I see what you mean by it being so different, but I still think they hit the right points, but still, like Thor Ragnarok. I enjoyed season 3 the way I enjoyed Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, but that needed a facelift. Stranger Things did not need a facelift.
After season 2, I beg to differ.
I think you're in a minority though.
Everyone I've talked to loves season 3.
Okay.
Like everyone I've talked to has rated it season 1, number 1, season 3, and then season 2 somewhere beyond that.
Well, I will say there's a lot I did like in the show. I still really like all the characters. Hopper, I was like, I kind of just put up with him because I loved him so much in the first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
He's not the same character in this though.
Yeah, he's a little bit more over the top.
Joyce is the same way. Someone please tell her why her magnets fell off her fridge.
I thought that was funny.
Like that started the mystery. Okay. What? And I like the characters a lot. I liked the mind flayer stuff, like the Stranger Things part of it. But the Russian base for me, it was just too out there. Like it was too big for these kids to be dealing with. Steve Harrington is in a Russian base being interrogated. He's getting pumped up with truth serum. He works for a freaking ice cream company.
Yeah. I mean, he did break into a Russian facility in the height of the Cold War.
And that was the other thing. Like the references in this one, the 80s references, they're no longer just in the background. It's overt.
Like what?
The guy who was hunting Hopper the entire time, he looks exactly like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And they make jokes about it. Like he's the Terminator. And I mean, they at one point, they're like, we got to lay low. Let's go watch Back to the Future. Remember that movie from the 80s?
Oh, yeah.
And the whole mall. I mean, I guess you can't get around it with a mall. Like there's going to be brand names and stuff, but
Yeah.
oh, it was just a very, again, it just felt like someone took over and was like, I know exactly what Stranger Things is, and they were wrong. It's like the broken telephone version of Stranger Things. You know that
Yeah,
game?
yeah. You say one thing, the second person who hears it repeats it to the third person repeats it to the fourth person, and then by the time you get to the end, it's like a completely different message.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, do you want to just do you want to go through and break down each grouping, I guess?
Yeah, sure. So Nancy
and
and Jonathan, they are now working for the newspaper of Hawkins.
Right.
They get reports of some rabid rats.
Mm-hmm.
They go to this one house to interview one of the girls or one of the ladies that's found and captured a rat.
Yeah.
Mrs. What's her name?
I don't remember.
I really liked her. She was so sweet.
Yeah.
And then they end up uncovering that the mind flare is taking people, and
yeah,
I don't know what are they doing.
This is reminding me of all the things I didn't like about this show.
It was kind of cool because like you see like the mind flare taking over people, kind of like how he took over Will in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
But he's getting these people to bring other people to him so that he can take over their minds too. And like it's kind of cool. So like by about midway through the season, you see that he has like an army of the townsfolk.
Yeah, not a huge one. Probably like a couple dozen.
Yeah,
maybe.
But it's like that's a good
it's a
number.
good chunk for them to fight.
And like that's a cool visual. Like I'd say that's one of the like.
I did like that moment when he calls them all, and it's during like the 4th of July party, and like all these people just leave their families.
Yeah. Okay, so season 1, the visual was the wall with the lights and the letters.
Mm-hmm.
Season 2, I'd say, is Will staring at the mind flare in the clouds in the distance, in the storm. Season 3, I'd say it's the mind flare looking at his army of people in that weird basement in the factory.
Can you tell that Victor's an illustrator? He always goes for the visuals.
Yeah.
Nancy and Jonathan, their storyline felt the most like Stranger Things to me.
Mm-hmm.
But they're my least favorite characters. And the other thing that kind of ticked me off is, while I'm not upset with the content of the story, I'm a little sick of the girl in an all-male workplace trying to be recognized for her work, and they're just chauvinistic pigs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sick of that story.
Yeah.
It's been done so many times. I get it. There was a time, well, there still is a time. It's still happening, but there's other ways to do it. I'm sick of that storyline.
Yeah.
So I wasn't enthused by their storyline, and Jonathan was right the entire time. But then, of course, because Nancy turns out to be right, he has to say, "No, you were right to keep pressing. You were right to get us fired from our jobs. You were right to like."
Mm-hmm.
The entire time, I'm like, Jonathan is the one who was right, and it just so happened that she happened to be right.
Yeah.
They often do this with reporter characters, and it's just like, no, they were reckless and they got lucky. Anyway. Sorry, that's just more of a pet peeve. I hate that story.
Yeah, understandable.
Do you want to move on?
Yeah. So Dustin, Steve, and Robin.
Oh, and Erica, Lucas's sister.
Oh yeah, I liked Erica.
I found her a little annoying, but
I mean, she was, but
she's
like
supposed to be annoying.
She was like the wrench in the plans. Like you needed her, but like she was always the one that was like against the rest of the group's plans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they break the Russian code. They sneak into the base. They get caught, interrogated, and then Dustin and what's her name? Dustin and what's the other girl?
The sister?
Yeah.
Erica.
Erica. See? Names. I don't need them in my life.
You just said it like 10 seconds ago.
And then they rescue Steve and Robin. They get out.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it. They meet up with the rest of the group. And then Mike, Lucas, Max, 11, girl problems.
Yeah, that one I was with Will.
Oh yeah, Will too. I forgot about Will.
Yeah, so did the writers. This is all Will did the entire season. There was one moment where he had a fight with Mike. Then the rest of the season, he just touches the back of his neck and goes, "He's here." That's all Will did. I hated what they did with Will. I really wanted him to be like more vengeful and be like, this mind flayer ruined my life for 2 years. Like I wanted him to be like on equal ground with Elle, because Elle very much became like the yin to the mind flayer's yang. You know, like they were always at odds. It was always about them coming back together to like fight.
Yeah.
I really wish that Will was on equal footing with Elle, that he would be like,
that's a good point.
Like that he would be as invested, if not more, in destroying the mind flayer.
Yeah.
He was very much a victim the entire season.
Yeah. And like he never spoke up about his like feelings about the mind flayer until like it was too late.
Yeah.
Or like until it was like way too far into the plot. Yeah. What did they do? They didn't really do much.
No. So what happens is Elle and Mike have been dating over the year between seasons, and Elle finally hangs out with Max, and Max is like, yo, you should dump him because he's selfish and just wants to keep you for himself.
And he lied to you.
And he lied to you.
That one time.
So you should dump him because we're 13, which, you know, that's kind of what 13-year-olds would do. So she dumps him, and then Mike and Lucas just complain about being dumped for about 3 episodes straight, or it felt like 3 episodes. I'm not sure if it was, but
yeah.
And 11 and Max go shopping. But there's one time where Will was like, "Can we stop talking about the girls and just play D&D?" And I was like, "Yeah. Can we do anything other than listen to these characters complain about their love lives?"
But like that's a bit of like development too, because then it's like, oh, these kids aren't just playing games anymore. Like they're thinking about girls because they're at that age, and you get a bit of like character development for Max and 11 because
I liked all of that.
Yeah,
it was just they what's the word I'm looking for?
They hovered on that area too long.
Yeah, they just did it too long. Mm-hmm. And I was with Will. I was like, "Can we please get back to Stranger Things?"
Fair.
Yeah. Hopper and Joyce.
Hopper, Joyce, they go back to the facility that was, I guess, that originally held the portal. They go through and they find out that the portals, the air that they've sealed off at the end of season 2 are still sealed.
Mm-hmm.
But then they encounter Russian Terminator dude, and then after that they're basically just running from him.
Well, no, they're investigating Joyce's magnets.
Oh, right.
Because no one can tell her why the magnets are falling off her fridge.
Oh, but that's what led her to the facility, right?
I just liked that line.
And then they find out that there's like 4 properties at this company that bought up land.
Yeah, they are doing like the conspiracy aspect of the investigation, and they find Alexei, who was one of the lead scientists on the Russian gate opening project.
Yeah,
and so they need someone to translate. So they go to Maury Bauman,
who was like a reporter.
He was a conspiracy theorist type guy.
Investigator dude.
Yeah, he's an investigator. That's what he is. From season 2. We didn't talk about him. Doesn't matter. So he can apparently speak Russian. And they figure out what the Russian base is for. And they figure out how to stop it. And then they sneak in and stop it.
I like Alexei. Alexei was a fun character. He was like very innocent. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Innocent, kind of goofy, childish.
Yeah.
I liked him and Maury.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that relationship. It was fun.
It was fine. I think the problem, I don't remember it well, is because Hopper and Joyce are screaming at each other around them the entire time.
But it's funny because he gets frustrated almost as much as we do. Yeah, basically says what everyone's thinking.
So Billy was the big bad in this season.
Yeah, he was mind flayed.
I really liked him.
Yeah, I'd say he's one of my favorite characters this season.
Yeah, he was terrifying when he needed to be, and like, actually, he was just always terrifying. Like he
pulled off when he was like, they find him at Heather's house. Heather is one of the lifeguards that he works with, and he kidnaps her. She's his first victim to bring to the mind flayer, and then we find out that they have both been flayed. I don't know, that scene with her and him in their house with like having family dinner with their parents who weren't mind flayed yet.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool, but then it was like also terrifying at the same time because you know something's wrong, but like you can't quite put your finger on it because things are normal enough, and this Max is like in complete denial about it. So it's like, oh. Well,
yes and no. You know something's up because we as the audience have seen stuff already. They've shown Heather get taken over. That was part of what I didn't like about the season is they didn't play it to the mystery aspect of it. They just showed you stuff.
Mm.
And then, so that scene would have been much more effective if you didn't know that Heather had been taken over.
Like if you hadn't seen that part where Elle,
like maybe she sees that and you're like, whoa, what was that? Then you get to the house and you're like, oh, I was innocent. Oh, Ella was mistaken. And then as soon as they leave, there's that turn and you're like, oh, she was flayed.
Yeah.
But because they already showed Billy taking her to get
that
flayed.
Surprise is gone.
And it's like, I already know that they're evil and they're just wolves in sheep clothing right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, what you were saying about Billy, yeah, I loved that every scene with him. It was like he was a powder keg, like just ready to explode. And you're just like you're kind of tense the entire time because you're just like, is someone going to say something wrong to him and he's just going to kill them? Like,
also that stash is awful.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it for the groups, right?
Yeah.
This is the first thing in a long time that we've disagreed on.
Yeah, probably. It's because I have taste. No, I didn't. It just wasn't Stranger. Like, it was an enjoyable show, but it wasn't Stranger Things.
See,
and that's why I didn't like it.
I just don't think I could do another, like, if they do, like, same reason I stopped watching Walking Dead is because it's the exact same thing over and over again. Yeah, you know, if you take each season, yeah, it's very Walking Dead. But as a whole, I don't want to watch past season 2.
Okay.
If they do season 4, which I think they will, it seems like they've set it up for season 4. I hope it's similar, but like still different too. Cause like there's no longer mystery. These kids know like, okay, this is their third rodeo, Josh. They know what's up.
Yeah. Yeah. It is hard to like keep going back to that well, but I don't think changing the tone of the show was the right way to deal with it. Especially, it was just because everything was so jokey, it made the stakes seem less high. You know what I mean? So like Hopper dies at the end of the season. I felt nothing.
Oh, really? That was like, that was almost tearing up at that scene.
Really? Because like moments earlier, he's like screaming at Joyce for some reason. And then they share a moment like, you need to close the gate and kill me.
So early in the season, Joyce and Hopper have a date, but Joyce stands them up because she's figuring out what's wrong with their magnets.
Yeah.
And then they're sitting in the room waiting for something to happen so that they can do what they need to do. But then Joyce asks him on a date. And at that point, I was like, oh no.
He's going to die.
He might die here.
Yeah. Yeah, that was this show was very predictive this season.
Mm-hmm.
When they opened up with Mike and 11 kissing, and then one character said something like, they're spending too much time together. I was like, well, they're going to break up. And what was the other one? Oh, there's something else that I was just like, yeah, that's going to happen. And it did happen.
Alexi dying?
As soon as he became friends with him, I was like,
he's going to die. As soon as Maury like left, I was like, oh no.
I forget. There was another instance where I was just like, that's going to happen. Can't remember.
When you figure that out, I'll talk about my one big complaint.
Okay.
I think you share that too, is that 11 is the only person doing anything in terms of fighting.
Yeah.
She's like so overpowered now with her powers. Lifting, she's throwing cars. She's taking that giant like mind flare and like tossing it around. Rips its head off at one point or rips it in half. It's kind of cool. But yeah, I feel like she's the only one fighting. Lucas does some stuff. He like cuts off a tongue with like an axe.
Yeah, he's the one with the fireworks at the end.
That was cool.
Which again, I think that was maybe one of them. It's not like really on me that I predicted it, but they played it off like it was like a big Steve moment, like from the first season when Steve shows up to fight the Demogorgon. They played it off like, you didn't expect him to come back with the fireworks. And it's just like Lucas literally said, we should use fireworks to fight this thing.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things where there was just like bad writing all around. Like I didn't like that the kids cracked the Russians' code. I was like, it's a government Russian code. You shouldn't be able to crack that in an afternoon. And then later on in the season, Robin is like, a couple of kids cracked your code. I think your code sucked or whatever. And it's just like, okay, just because you're pointing out lazy writing doesn't make it less lazy.
True.
So anyway, That is to say, I enjoyed watching it. It just wasn't Stranger Things. It wasn't the characters I liked. It was wrong. It was wrong. It was the upside down version of the show.
It's like the off-brand version for you?
Yeah. That's exactly what it was.
I feel like this is a return to keeping my interest. It's brought me back.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Like it's fine if you liked it. I don't think anyone's stupid for enjoying it.
You're stupid for not enjoying it.
Okay.
You're wrong, Josh.
All right. But I didn't really like it.
Are you excited for season 4? If they do it?
Oh, they're going to do it. You know what? I kind of am. Where they left things off. Hopper is gone.
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of upset about because he was one of my favorite characters, but he was technically gone at the beginning of season 3.
Ooh.
And Joyce and the buyers have moved away.
Oh, wait. At the end of season 3, did you see that post-credit scene?
Yeah.
They're in a Russian base and they're going to like some cells, closed doors that you can't see behind. And one of the Russians goes to open the door and the other one says, "No, not the American." He goes and grabs another dude, brings a dude into another room, put him in a
cage.
Yeah, I guess it's a cage. And a Demogorgon comes out, like a full-grown Demogorgon, and eats him. So, not the American. Do you think that's a lazy way to bring back Hopper?
Yes, I think it's very obvious that it's Hopper. And I would like to think that they're smarter than that. But the way this season was written, it very well may be Hopper.
Because it could be like, oh, you know what? Hopper jumped into the upside down before the gate closed.
I don't know.
It's no lazy than bringing 11 back after she was disintegrated.
Like, I'm fine if they bring Hopper back.
Yeah.
But I would not be surprised if he's in that prison cell.
I was really hoping they would use Bob in the season, even if it's just like a haunting.
Like as a
vision?
Ghost? Like an actual ghost?
Not
or
like an
just
actual
his
ghost, but
memory?
like maybe like, I don't know, Joyce is having like nightmares. Or
well,
like
she kind of was doing that.
Or if she was in the upside down and like Bob is there. But
Bob's
not,
dead.
But not there. But there. But not really. But yeah, I don't know. What was that scene? The last scene where...
What scene? The one with Dustin and Susie singing?
No.
I actually liked that scene
I hate
a lot.
that scene.
Really?
I mean, sorry. I hate singing in shows. I don't know why it's just cringy to me, but I love everyone's reaction as you go, like, as they cut to them, listening to...
I really liked that scene. That scene would have worked if the tone was different as well. So I'm not labeled as a hypocrite for liking a comedic scene in the middle of a serious moment, just immediately after complaining about it. I think that would have worked both ways, but...
No, I was talking about the scene where Joyce is packing up her house with Will and...
Everyone was there, but yeah.
Well, 11's moving in with Will, apparently, and they're all moving to a different city.
Yeah.
And Joyce finds... She still has Hopper's police outfit and finds a letter inside his pocket because him and Joyce basically devised like a speech to give to Mike and 11 about boundaries. He never delivers that speech to him, but he ends up... You find out when 11 reads that he added a bit more to it.
Mm-hmm.
He has like a little heart-to-heart moment with himself or her through the letter.
Yes.
And that was...
I really liked that.
Yeah. I'd say of all this, like, I'd say that was probably my favorite scene in the entire season.
Yeah, I will say this. The majority of the season I didn't like. I liked the last couple episodes a lot with the mind flare at the mall and stuff. And
yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think I've ripped this apart significantly. Do you have anything else to say?
No, not really.
Actually, I have one more thing. There was 3 times in the show, I wrote these down. They were quotes that were directly ripped from other movies.
All right.
So there's one part in it where Hopper says, "I can do anything. I'm the chief of police." That's from Jaws.
Mm.
"You are a policeman. You have rules." That was from Die Hard. Remember when he puts the gun to the Terminator's back of the Terminator's head and says, "I will kill you if you don't do what I say."
I mean, yeah, okay.
It's amazing what $20 at the county recorder's office can get you. That's from Sneakers.
See, that's very specific, and I would agree that's probably ripped from somewhere. But like, do you think I don't know those 2 other ones?
Well, it was more like the delivery of them, and it's not a it's not a knock on the show at
Yeah.
all, because I feel like if I was writing a show, I would do the exact same thing. But I just found myself, I was like, how do I know the end of this line?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like those first two lines fall into that category for me. It's like, oh, this situation that's very common, and here's a line that's.
But they happen the exact same way they happen in the movies.
Oh, okay.
So like,
I see
Hopper
what you're
is
saying, yeah,
drinking when he says it. In Jaws, Brody is drinking and he's about to go do something, and someone's like, "You can't do that," and he goes, "I can do anything. I'm the chief of police," while he's holding a bottle of wine. And then the other one is a cop puts a gun to a European man's head and says, "If you move, I'm going to kill you," or something like that.
Okay. If the situation and like the way they shot it matches, then yeah, okay, that's definitely a reference.
And again, it's not a knock. I would do the exact same thing if I was writing the show, but I'm not a good writer.
Oh, damn.
Sorry, I had to get one last one in.
All right. Well, wrap it up there. Is there anything else to add?
No. Should I say something I liked? Did I say anything I liked about the show? I feel like
you did.
I feel like I did. Okay.
Yeah, in the jumble of hatred and anger.
Yeah.
Wow, this is weird that like you don't like something that I like.
It's not that weird.
I mean, sorry. Something that's like mainstream like this. I feel like for mainstream stuff we have
a lot of
similar tastes.
Like this, yeah.
But tell us what you think of season 3.
Am I crazy or is Victor crazy?
You know what? Yeah, let us know in the comments. Cause yeah, I can't be wrong in this. Josh definitely is.
You're probably right, but I didn't like it.
If you want to get in touch with us directly, you can email us at averageUninformed@gmail.com. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys again next week.
We're gonna cover Comic-Con.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, gonna be lots of stuff.
Hot toys.
We're not gonna talk about hot toys.
Anyways, bye.
Bye.